Okay. So the thing is, this is another time. Remember, when you do your goniometry, you're going to do it passively first, so you can eyeball how much range of motion, and so you can show the patient what to do. And this is one of those times where the patient needs help knowing what to do. All right, so all I want you to do is turn the sole of your foot upward like that. Okay, can you do that? All right. Okay, and by the way, that's really helpful doing the passive range of motion when your patient has a plantar flexion contracture, so you can kind of see that. Oh, she can't get to neutral. All right, so she's in plantar flexion right there. And going through that thought process can help before you do the measurement. Okay, but now we're doing inversion. And to do inversion, you need a goniometer that's flexible, because where are you going to put the axis?
In between the malleoli.
Right between the lateral and the medial malleolus. So it's going to go right in the middle there. Okay, and then I'm going to angle up the crest of her tibia up to tibial tuberosity, which we officially haven't identified yet. And then I'm going to use what for the distal arm?
Second metatarsal.
The second metatarsal. All right, so I'm going to get oriented to my goniometer. Let's see. I'm going to go this way, so I'm looking at those numbers down there. So line it up right in the middle. Up there. Right on top of the second metatarsal. Will you do that motion, please, for me? And I've got 25 degrees. What do you have for a normal?
35.
35. Okay, and then for eversion, I'm going to have the goniometer in the same place. This time I want you to turn your sole of your foot outward like that. Okay, and keep the rest of your leg still and just move your foot like that. Okay? Does it look like more or less range of motion?
Less.
Typically, people have less range of motion. Go ahead and relax a bit. Okay, so I'm going to line up. Okay, can you do that motion, please? And I've got 12 degrees. What do you all have for a normal? 15 degrees. Okay. All right, so inversion, eversion is fairly straightforward. All right, some other things to look at in your notes here. So notice we've got some other stuff in the comments section. Under dorsiflexion, notice number 2 there. You need about 10 degrees of dorsiflexion for normal gait on level surfaces. So you're going to see exam questions that address this sort of thing. Notice number 3, you need about 20 degrees to go up and down stairs and to stand up from a chair. Okay, now, if you take a look at your textbook, it's showing you that at the end of the chapter on page 310. If you look at page 310, you can see a picture of a guy going down the stairs. If you look at his right foot, what position is his ankle in? You've got to be able to dorsiflex quite a bit to go downstairs normally or upstairs. Okay, you see him in the picture on the right standing up from the chair. What position is his ankle in or ankles in? So again, to do that normally, you have to have about 20 degrees of dorsiflexion at the ankle. Okay, so you want to pay attention. We didn't really have that with the upper extremity, but with the lower extremity, we're putting in certain places the amount of range of motion that's needed to normally do different functional activities. All right, if you look at your notes at inversion and eversion, it says there in the comments section number 2 that if you wanted to isolate just the subtalar joint, there is a different way to measure. And you can see that in your textbook on page 282, 283, where you line up the goniometer on the back. Okay, I just want to point out it's there, but on the skills test, I just want you to measure overall inversion, eversion like I just demonstrated, which remember occurs at the subtalar joint and the what joint? transverse tarsal joint or mid-tarsal joint. So just straight overall inversion and eversion. All right, and if you keep turning in your book, you'll notice you get to about page 293 and you get to the toes. Okay, so measuring the toes is going to be just like we did with the fingers. So you can use goniometers like this. You can also use the finger goniometers to do that. They work for toes too. So they're fairly straightforward. So notice you don't need to measure the amount of MTP adduction or IP extension of the great toe. However, MTP extension of the great toe, and actually other toes, is important, because you can see in the comment section, you need about 30 degrees of MTP extension during heel off to have normal gait, and notice you need about 60 degrees for toe off to have normal gait. So we mentioned this briefly before. So we're talking about the MTP joint. Put your foot up here. Okay, so we need about 60 degrees right there. So notice you've got a lot of extension there. Right? And actually at all the toes you need that amount of extension. It's kind of hard to measure the little toes though, so you're just measuring the big toes for the big toe for goniometry. All right, so this is in MTP extension and flexion, and then you have IP flexion and extension. And you're also going to measure MTP abduction. All right. Anything to clarify about goniometry, ankle and foot? Yes.
Does it matter what position their knee or heel is in for doing the toe?
You get to help me figure that out.
Oh, no.
All right. So tell me, do the muscles that move the toe, like we have the extensor hallucis longus, the flexor hallucis longus, do either of those cross the knee joint? No, they don't cross the knee joint. So it's not as essential what position the knee is in. Anything else?
Is it easier to have them laying supine?
That would work to do that. That'd be fine. Either way. What do I have in your notes? Do I have anything?
It's sitting or supine.
Yeah, either way.
Or long sitting.
Long sitting could work. Yeah. For some people, it's harder to be in long sitting because it stretches your hamstrings. Being supine might be easier. Anything else? All right, and really work on that ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. All right, we can practice.